Good afternoon.
Hi,
What's your name?
my name is Jonathan.
Jonathan. How do you spell Jonathan?
Yes, it's Jonathan.
Okay. And who do you prefer to travel with, Jonathan?
To which place you mean?
No, who do you prefer to travel with?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Okay, so, well, what I like the most is traveling with my couple, with my girlfriend, because it's my company traveler where I'm going. What I like the most from traveling with her is that she totally understands and share with me the same interest in which cultural things we want to see. And apart from that, we also share the same kind of tastes in terms of foods, which is something which is also very relevant for us.
Okay. Tastes.
Tastes.
How long do you think that answer was? Any idea?
I would say it's correct.
And if you had to say how many seconds you spoke?
I don't know in seconds, but in sentences it was 3. And I guess it's more or less the average about what they are expecting.
Yeah, 45 seconds.
45 seconds?
Yeah, amazing, hey?
My God.
Let's do one more. Are you more fond of long or short distance travel?
Well, if I had to choose, I would choose long distance travel because the amount of things that you can find far away of your country is wonderful. I'm just thinking about, for instance, Asia, which is a place where it's too long from here, from Madrid, which is totally different in terms of culture. That's it. But it's not
How long do you think that was?
30,
Exactly. Yeah.
and it's also too long.
I think it's okay.
Okay.
I think that's
But
good.
for me, internally, it's not enough. I'm not giving you enough insights to understand the question, or at least that's my sense. Do you think that this is really important to also provide a context? Because for me, maybe it's kind of, it's my mistake trying to give enough details just to, close the question in a better way. And for that, we are speaking too long.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's nice to give a well-rounded answer. Um, Personally, I think that you get more marks and um, more concentration of the examiners on parts 2, 3, and 4. I think part 1 is really just designed as a way of getting you comfortable. And so I think in the examiner's minds, they focus a bit more on the next parts of the exam. But it's good to give to show the vocabulary, and in the first part, that's their first impression of you as well. So it is good to show language, and it's good to be smiley and positive and all these things that you can influence the examiner with. So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I think as long as you don't talk. So I think when we did the first test half an hour ago, the answer you gave was nearer to a minute long. So I'd say, to be honest, I think 45. I thought your first answer was okay, and I thought your second answer was okay. I'd just be a bit concerned not to speak any longer than your first answer, for example. And then I just wrote down this for part 1, but I'll write it here anyway because we're here. Far away of your country. Can you see any problem here?
No, I cannot see.
So when we say far away, we use different preposition, right?
Far away to,
Nope.
from.
Yep. Neverland is far away from Africa.
Let me write down this in my far away from.
Are you and your girlfriend far away from each other, Jonathan?
No, we live close to each other.
Are you far away from any relatives?
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately.
Close to the relatives, eh? Okay. Anyway, let's move on to part 2.
Okay.
And the topic is water. So, Jonathan, here are your pictures. They show different ways in which people use water. I'd like you to compare 2 of the pictures and describe the different ways in which water is being used, saying why it might be important in the lives of these people. All right?
Okay. Okay, so I will start talking about the picture which is placed on the bottom, on left side. Where in this case, I guess the lack of water really impact to this village. And I will, no, not lack of water, I want to say the amount of trust that is coming from the water, it really impact to this village, and this occasionate that maybe they can have some trouble in regards to the animals that they live there in that ocean or river. And I would like to compare with the photograph which is placed on the right side, which in this case the warriors use as a kind of entertainment for these people that are trying to enjoy their summer vacation or something like that there. I guess that in the first case, I would say that water is very important because the animals that live there is part of the alimentation that they have in that kind of village. Whereas on the second case, the water is very relevant for them because it's the way to.
Thank you. Okay. Then, now, Jonathan, in which picture do you think the water is most important?
If I had to choose one, I would choose, in the case of the pieman, basically because water is 100% important in order to have under control the fire, which are occasionated in some buildings or other places. So I consider that the water is part of the job, this profession. Yeah, definitely it's the most important to me.
What do you think about that part 2, Jonathan?
Much better. I failed because I misunderstood the first photograph, which I thought I misunderstood. I don't know why. I guess because of the size. I misunderstood. I thought that it was another kind of photographs. Afterwards, I decided to change my words. Initially, I failed, honestly. But yes, I'm human, so I guess that this is something that can also happen during the exam.
Yep, could happen to anybody. The important thing is even if you get confused or misunderstand the picture or even misunderstand the question, the important thing is just follow that strategy, show the comparing and show the technique. That's the most important thing. And if you have the technique, then hopefully, even if there's a bit of confusion over the picture itself, the marks will carry themselves through and it will still be okay. And you did that because you changed to the second picture. Because also I think that what you were saying about the first picture wasn't exactly answering the first question. But then when you changed the second picture, you did answer the question correctly, and you saw what was happening, and you were saying they're using the water for fun, for activities, on holiday. Exactly. And then you went on to the second question, and you had time to talk about one of the pictures, I think, and then I stopped you. So hopefully in the exam, hopefully you would understand the picture, which would make you feel a bit less confused, and you won't have just done a test before, so probably you're feeling a bit more relaxed, and then it will be slightly quicker, and then hopefully we'll be able to answer the second question for the second picture also. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about getting confused with the picture. I would just make sure you focus on that technique. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
And the second part, deciding, was good. You chose the different picture, which is absolutely fine, and you spoke for about 30 seconds, which is the amount of time you're supposed to speak for. So yeah, it was good. There was just one language thing I wrote down, which is the word occasionate. I think you said something like this.
Yeah, I use it as a verb.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we don't normally use it as a verb in English. We would say something. Could you think of a sentence? I can't remember the sentence.
Yeah, I was talking about the animals and the sea. So what I wanted to say that this kind of plastic which they are taking or can occasionate some, losing animals into the sea. So for that reason, I say occasionate.
Okay, so I would say something like plastic, because I don't think occasionate is a word. You could say, for example, the plastic might have an effect, or plastic could impact. Yeah, that's a good word. Or create, or impact is probably the best one. Yeah. Impact on animals or create a something or other, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to part 3.
Okay.
So, now I'd like you to talk about something together for about 2 minutes. Here are some ways that people make extra money, and a question for us to discuss. First, we have some time to look at the task. Okay. Now, talk to each other for about what options one might consider when looking to increase his or her income.
Okay. Can I get the ball rolling?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I would like to start talking about selling things that you don't need. This is something that really can increase a little bit your income. Basically because all of us, we have many things in our houses that we are not potentially using it for our daily basis. What is your perspective about this topic?
Yeah, I agree. I think we have a lot of things we don't need and we could sell them to make money. Personally, I'm a bit lazy and I don't bother, but it's a good way, I think. What about cutting unnecessary expenses?
Hardly have I seen something similar to get incomes related to cutting unnecessary expenses. From my personal point of view, I guess the expenses that you have is something that is very fixed. it's quite difficult to cut it in, because if you haven't done yet, it's because you cannot do it. But this is my personal point of view. I don't know if you share the same point of view than me.
I think that most people probably have some unnecessary expenses that maybe they could cut down. I don't think I have too many, but I've seen a few television programs and I was surprised at how much they managed to cut one family's income, for example. What about investing in assets that produce income?
Oh, it might be possible that it can increase the income by doing this kind of action. But the thing is that sometimes you don't really know 100% if that asset that you want to produce, or you want to get some revenue, is going to be really successful for you in terms of getting an investment. So I wouldn't consider this as an option, because it can contain many risks associated to that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Now we have about a minute to decide which option would be the most suitable for a student and why.
Well, bearing in mind that it's quite difficult to find a job when you're a student here in Spain, I would say that set up your own business. It can be a good way to increase your income, because not only is going to ensure you a better job, it also is going to give you a initial income which can help you to maybe do better things in the future, setting up another business or doing other important negotiations with other businesses. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think if you can work when you're a student, it's a really good idea. Possibly just working extra hours or asking for a salary rise. But if you have the creative frame of mind, then starting your business is a good idea, I think.
I'm with you 100% on that point.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of part 3. Alrighty. What do you think?
Good, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it was really good. First part, you asked me questions in good time, gave me time to talk, you had time to talk. So I think that the space and the pace at which you talked, I thought was good. Seemed quite relaxed, comfortable, and you managed to use a couple of your special phrases like "hardly have I ever," da da da. And even if they're not 100% correct, it's great just to try anyway. So I think actually it was correct anyway. There was something else that you said a bit after which I would have changed, but it's not important. The overall thing is good. Okay, let's just do a few final part 4 questions to finish.
Okay.
Jonathan, do you think we are slaves to consumerism?
I would say yes. Speaking from my personal experience, I'm a consumer which is very consumerist, as you mentioned, because sometimes there is no other way to do things. I'm just thinking about, for instance, the way that you can communicate with people nowadays. If we do not have a kind of a smartphone, we cannot, communicate by using the new channels that we have right now to us. So based on that, I will say that yes, we are a little bit straightforward to that.
Okay. How important is it to save money?
Well, it depends on the way that you can save money. I will say that if you have the opportunity to save it, it will be ideal for you, because you can invest it in other things which can give you more revenue.
Okay. Some people earn much more money than others. Is this fair?
What did you say, sorry?
Some people earn much more money than others.
Okay.
Is this fair?
Well, I guess that people that earn more money is because maybe the work or the job that they are doing have more value, whereas the other jobs that earn less money do not have it. I would say that these people that gain a lot of money are making something very relevant for the world in general. I'm just thinking about scientists as an example, which can, for instance, deal with how to create a medicine to fight against the cancer.
Yeah, okay. And how do we avoid credit card debt?
Well, coming back to what you mentioned before about to be a person which is consumerism, I would say that, yeah, so of course, if you are this kind or sort of people and you are using your debit card, this is not something really useful for you because you are going to generate some debt that is not going to be helpful for you. So I would say to this kind of people that maybe they should rethink about what they are going to purchase before doing it, just thinking about the debt that they can accumulate.
Okay. And the final question. Some people say money can't buy happiness. To what extent do you agree with this?
I will say that I partially agree with that statement. I guess that having money in a tangible way is not something that is going to give you happiness. But the thing is that the fact that how much things you can do by exchanging that money by things, you know what I mean? So basically, if you, for instance, would like to travel because you love traveling, by having money, you are going to be able to satisfy your need. But if you don't have it, you cannot be happy. You know what I mean? So it's kind of relationship between satisfaction and happiness.
Okay, that is the end of the speaking test. The only language things I think are things that you already know. So, for example, don't say interested on, say interested in. How much things?
How many? How many? You said
Yeah.
how many things?
Yeah. How many things? If it's plural. Set up your own business. I just wrote down because we needed to use the gerund setting up your own business because it was a new sentence that you said back in part 3, I think. But yeah, just small things, and as I said, I think you know them anyway. So good, I would say.